I want to serve God in my generation like David served God in his. Who do you think said that? You might think he was a clergyman or something, right? Well, that was from James Clerk Maxwell, the author of A Dynamical Theory of the Electromagnetic Field, the man who told us the components of the rings of Saturn, the man who showed us that light was electromagnetic radiation, the man who gave us the first color photograph, the man or the boy who was publishing papers at 15 back in Edinburgh, Scotland, or nearby. That is where James Clerk Maxwell is from. And this is part of the Faraday Maxwell Institute of Technology science program at LifeSTEM Academy. You have heard me talk about the mathematics programs, and this video is more focused on the science, logic, and chapel program at LifeSTEM Academy. At LifeSTEM Academy, we have the 5 C's: Christ exalted, career preparation, character development, content mastered, and community built. Well, how do we plan to inspire students to know where they're headed in life? It is such a sad state of affairs in America where so many people graduate high school with no direction in life. That is not the case in Nigeria. That is not the case in Germany. That's not the case in many other parts of the world. But in America it is. And I'm not trying to make any child feel bad for not knowing. I am concerned about the school system that tells them they don't have to be thinking deliberately about those things because they're still young. Well, why do we have so many of them graduating from college still saying, I don't know what to do with my life? Maybe the answer to the problem is actually showing kids that from the age of 8, 9, or 10, you can have direction for life. Our career planning for teens program will help our teenagers to think about what are the things I'm good at? What are the things I should explore? These are aspects that they will learn in our career preparation at LifeSTEM Academy. And every young person, even if they don't attend LifeSTEM Academy, they should be looking for job shadowing opportunities, internships, and so on and so forth. One of the people with Dave Ramsey's team has actually written a book called The Proximity Principle. And the subtitle is A Proven Strategy That Will Lead to the Career You Love. So he's also written some strategies that people can learn from. You see, one of the things that I was blessed with growing up is that I didn't have social media because there was no social media, right? Mark Zuckerberg and I are about the same age. So there was no social media, no Facebook. The thing called MySpace happened, but that was not really a thing. And so what did we do for the most part with our time? We read. We read a lot. And I believe that every student in every school in every part of the world needs to be reading good books. So if there's a book reading list your school has for your child that has a lot of books that are problematic, please let's have that pushed aside and get your child good books. So in our science program at LifeSTEM Academy, we have the textbooks they will use for the specific course they're taking, but they should also expect to learn from the philosophy of science works of Stephen Meyer, the works of John Lennox. They will learn from different people that write about science and faith. And so we're going to really encourage them to do that. I want to mention one more thing, and then I'll get into the nitty-gritty of the curriculum we're using. I'm writing a series called the Career Brochure Series, which all our 6 to 12 graders have access to. I finished the one on medicine. And in this series, and it pertains especially to these books here, I'm answering the question, if there's a 6th grader that says, what should I do with my life? If I know I want to be a doctor, what should I be doing now? Well, I've given them a roadmap of what they can do. If they want to be an engineer, we're going to have a roadmap. If they want to be a pilot, we're going to have a roadmap. But what we do in these roadmaps is we show them, here's how to get a 4-year degree. Here's the courses you can CLEP before you even start your 4-year degree. Here's a path you can follow. Here are some people you can get mentored by. If they want, they can ask us and we'll try and connect them. If you want to be a doctor, I'll connect you to some of my friends. Here's Dr. Chu. If he has a moment to talk, here's Dr. Janetti. Here's Dr. Ojuku. Here's Dr. Barkley. We could go on and on, right? I just think of some of my friends that come to mind. But the point is, I want people to have a chance to talk to people before they dive into a profession. I also want them, if it's within the policy of the hospital, to get job shadowing if medicine is their interest. In light of all of that, let's now look at what this could look like. If you want to become a doctor or if you want to get a good science education, here's the LifeSTEM Academy 7th to 12th grade science program. If a student is in 7th grade or 8th grade, actually before I do that, if you don't mind, let me just mention this quickly. If in terms of our schedule, we have 9 o'clock chapels. The chapels will still end about 9:45, but then it gives people time to have dialogue in small groups as part of the chapel. There's going to be a lot more cohort discussion. So they will be at the chapel, and the chapel will actually transition into a time of logic. We're going from chapel to logic. And sometimes it's going to happen so smooth. You're like, wow, we're doing logic now. Yep, that's fine. We're going to go from singing songs of praise, encouraging one another, and then flow into logic. Now, some of you at Lifetime Academy have not gone through that logic book we went through last year by Jason Weil. So some of you will be going through that from scratch. That will be something that you should plan for. But if you've gone through the book and you understand it, we're going to be doing a lot of logic that ties to apologetics, that ties to science. The first full hour of a class is this science class from 10 to 11. And I had people asking questions about where do we fit in logic? When is logic? And so my best solution is to, from 9:45 to 10:15, to do a more deliberate time of logic and tie it to apologetics. Because a big topic in science at Lifetime Academy this year, in biology, is going to be evolution. So let's spend time. There's a whole shelf up here where a majority of the books are just on evolution, creation, questions of intelligent design. So I want our students to have that as a solid base. I want them to have a solid base of what does the Bible teach about science, or well, what does the Bible teach about the different aspects of God's creation, I should say. Science is a neutral tool initially, right? In terms of here's a tool that can do A, B, C, D. But science itself came from a lot of people in the scientific revolution who had faith as well. And you hear a lot of things like science has buried God, right? God's undertaker, has science buried God? There's a reason John Lennox wrote this book, because this is a problem people are wrestling with. What is the relationship between science and faith? That's going to be a big part of our logic apologetics moment there, right? So you have chapel, you have logic, and then you do more formal science for about 40 minutes. What is formal science? There's going to be dissections, which we've already got a kit here. So there's going to be some dissections. You have microscope work, some microscopy here. We're going to be doing, and the things for dissection are right in there. We're going to be doing experiments with the general science students. There's experiments they will do on their own, but with the teacher. But for the biology students, you can expect dissections. I have a teacher's assistant already for this. We're going to be doing a lot of dissection, practical, hands-on, and tie it to careers. That's part of what we're trying to do. So, if someone says, I want a quality science education, Amos, you're going to have to watch another video for that. Because if you want a quality science education that's very rigorous, what I got in Nigeria, what we get in Africa, and what people get in Germany, we're going to have another conversation. They do a lot. Let's just say that what I have here to my right, they will do like 3 of these books at the same time each year, and they will do 3 of these books at the same time each year. Notice that they've done those 2 sets. So what are they doing with the rest of their time? They have more. They do a lot of science back there. But let's now talk about in America. What is the best option in America? The first thing I would say is that Science in the Scientific Revolution is a good course for people who are in 4th, 5th grade, or if you're in 6th and 7th grade and you're still not comfortable doing some of the more rigorous general science curriculum, then you should be doing Science in the Scientific Revolution. I will be recording a whole course that goes with Science in the Scientific Revolution. If you have friends, even if they don't go to Lifetime Academy, but if they want to learn the history of science thoroughly, please tell them to join our course where we'll be offering that. After the Science in the Scientific Revolution, our students should plan to do Science in the Atomic Age. If they are following that general science sequence, that's what they will do. More so that's 6th or 7th if you're more mature in your understanding of science. Some people do this in 8th grade. So I understand. We'll talk to each family about what's best for that child. Then you go to biology. This is the class most of our students are doing, especially from the 8th to 10th grade. They're doing biology. We're talking about cells. We're talking about DNA. Biology is literally like if you study biology, you have to do apologetics. You have to do logic. You have to, because biology is one of those battleground sciences right now. And so that's why we're putting logic and science together back to back, because we want them to think through the metaphysical implications of what they're learning in science. What does it mean when we talk about DNA? DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, is this code that runs everything in, giving instructions for protein formation and so on and so forth. If we're talking about DNA, then the question becomes, can you get DNA and code without a mind? Can you get code without a mind? The answer is no. So when people talk about the question of evolution and so on and so forth, which is going to happen in biology, sometimes you are literally getting into the realm of philosophy, faith, and so, like, you're not in the realm of science anymore, because you're answering questions or trying to answer questions that cannot be answered fundamentally by the science itself. The reason why I started this video segment with James Clerk Maxwell is because not only did he do physics well, he also was memorizing things like Psalm 119, all of the verses. He was using his mind to study God's word as well. So I want to quickly finish out with a few more things here for students. You have general science options, biology option, and then we have a few students that are done with this series over there and want to do chemistry, and that is just fine. We will have opportunities for people to do chemistry. My first degree was in chemistry. My master's was medical physics. So I love chemistry. That's definitely a passion as well. There is actually a video series that goes with the chemistry curriculum that already exists, and we can talk about that later. What if you've done biology and all of these? Well, you could do a study on anatomy and physiology. That's not a bad idea. Especially if you want to become a doctor, this book would be a very good one for you. And let me end with the last course, which we don't really have anybody signed up for, but if you're from around the country and you want tutoring in physics or other courses, please reach out to us. One of our math instructors, who has done a great job this summer, has a degree in physics as well as math. He's helped us rebuild our online math course, and it is just wonderful the work he's done. This physics course has multiple options. We have the J. Wiles book, we have the Bob Jones book. But the other thing I want to encourage to anyone out there who wants to study physics is to check out some of the Feynman lectures. Feynman did such a great job as an instructor. I'm not talking about worldview now. I'm just talking about as an instructor. He was a very good instructor. He did such a good job that people took his lectures and put them to a transcript. You have to be a very good teacher for people to want your lectures in a transcript form. So that resource is available. Most of our students are doing biology, but we have some people doing general science. We're creating a full course on science in the scientific revolution. A lot of exciting things happening at LifeSTEM Academy. We want to raise the best scientists of this generation, and by the grace of God, I hope that they will say, like James Clerk Maxwell, I want to serve God in my generation like David served God in his. And I pray that our young people will serve God in their generation with their skills, their tools, and their talents. Let's put apathy away to the wayside, and let's inspire the next generation of Faraday Maxwell Institute of Technology graduates who will change the world for good. Take care and have a blessed day.